Well, welcome everybody. I'm Ben Richards, the CEO of GOLFZON LEADBETTER, and we have a very special announcement to make today. We're really proud to be entering into a new partnership with David, the Leadbetter organization, and PAYNTR Golf, a revolutionary new golf footwear company. And we've got Mike Forsey and David Paynter, the co-founders of PAYNTR Golf, here to tell us all about the product and what we can expect. So welcome everyone. Start with you, David Paynter, I guess. Do you want to give us a little backstory into the Paynter history and where this all came from, and then we'll maybe get a little bit more into golf.
Yeah, definitely. I'll try and keep it short because otherwise we'll be here all day. But yeah, so I guess the Paynter brand was formed in 2017, which was predominantly for a cricket shoe brand, which is my background. So I was an ex-professional cricketer who was dissatisfied with the footwear which was available. So I came up with this wonderful idea to create a brand because I thought I could do better than everyone else that was in there, which has been tough to say the least. But yeah, we've definitely created this different brand, which is all based around performance, basically. So it's enhancing the athlete's performance by giving them a better product, basically. So that's what we did in cricket. We're now one of the fastest growing cricket footwear brands in the world. And then obviously now we're moving into the world of golf with the same strategy, along with my co-founder, Mike Forsey. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. But yeah, it's super exciting, Ben, to be partnered with yourselves and David.
So tell us about this golf shoe then, Mike. You got one there to show. Well, I can see David's got his in front of him.
I've got a cleaner one that I can share. So this is our first offering into golf, and you know what we talk about is the balance between the aesthetics and performance. And you know, in the golf shoe world, it's kind of swung in the other direction where, you know, golf manufacturers start with the aesthetic of the product, and we felt like we needed to put a stake in the ground and have a competitive advantage that started with kind of the movements in golf, the biomechanics of golf, and the on-course needs of the golfer. So our first offering, we talk exactly about, you know, three-dimensional traction. So traction in the vertical, horizontal, and rotational direction. So you know, the bottom is where our technology is. We've got a graphite propulsion plate in there. It's completely waterproof, super comfortable. But we're obviously pretty excited in the golf market. The coverage that we've gotten to date has been phenomenal. You know, Golf Monthly, Golf Digest, Golf Magazine, but even Forbes and Gentleman's Quarterly has picked up the story. So there's definitely this momentum and this brand heat that we're already developing, and I think it's because we're doing the right thing with the footwear. And then this partnership, just obviously we're excited about it, but it just comes together so naturally. Just, you know, with your teaching fundamentals and our philosophy around product creation. So
well, we're excited. David, when we get our hands on a product that we know as coaches helps players play better, I think that's kind of what we're looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. I think, you know, Mike obviously is probably a little bit modest about, you know, his history and the fact that, you know, he's worked with some of the biggest companies in the world. I mean, I'm not sure if I meant to mention them. I mean, I don't know if that's proprietary, but, you know, some of the biggest shoe companies in the world, and some of the biggest players in the world too, designing shoes personally for them. So, you know, there's a lot of history, and a good close friend of Jean-Jacques Rivet, who I think is one of the world's, no question, leading biomechanists. And it's funny, his forte are feet. And we know, you know, in golf now, what we've studied and learned over the years, how important your feet are. And I know that from a personal standpoint, having injured my both feet in the last couple of years. But you know, especially in golf, the fact that, you know, you use that ground, that ground force pressure, that's so important. And that's why you see it's one of those unseen things, but we're able to see that now with 3D analysis and force plates, et cetera, you know, what's actually taking place and the pressures that are built up. And that's why people with very different looking swings hit the ball solidly, because it's not necessarily what the eye picks up, it's really what's happening internally. And so it's exciting to me because as I say, I think the feet are everything, being able to sort of use from a balance standpoint, from being able to, because remember, we're moving at speed, as you said, we're moving horizontally, we're moving vertically, we're moving the rotational planes. And so having a shoe like this with the technology behind it, it's really, really interesting. And the great thing is too, I mean, look, we know that shoes are a fashion item. So you're combining not only performance, but you're with fashion. And, you know, the lightness of the shoe, just the, you know, right now, you know, they've got these little, what do you call them, nubs at the bottom here, right? Which are, I mean, you can use these, I mean, especially from a teaching standpoint, we're out there all day on the tee, being standing on your feet, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you're fatigued. So they're so comfortable, they're light, they're completely waterproof. And certainly, I mean, in the pipeline are spikes and a ladies line. So all in all, I mean, it's just a great looking product, very neat looking. I mean, it's just, you know, it's attractive to the eye. I mean, there's some shoes out there which claim performance, but they're pretty ugly. But yet, you know, this is a product which I look at, and you know, I think it covers the whole range of players. You know, I mean, you know, young players, for instance, they're probably more fashion conscious than performance conscious. You know, they, you know, shoe to them as a shoe. But I think so from their standpoint, the fact that it looks really classy and it looks like a sort of a running shoe to a certain extent, or a trainer, as they say in the UK. But I mean, I think it's, I mean, the possibilities are limitless. I do think that the fact that you know, walking, I mean, if you walk, even if you don't walk, the fact that, look, you've got a comfortable pair of shoes on, but that actually aid performance. I mean, you've got a winning combination there.
So, Mike, tell us a bit more about the technology, and how is that technology actually helping a golfer to generate greater ground forces in their swing?
Yeah, not to pick up where David mentioned. Yeah, we definitely look at golf footwear as part of that player's equipment. And those that, you know, those players that use the ground most effectively are some of the longest hitters on tour. So one of the analogies we like to use is running in sand, where you have, it's soft underfoot, but it's not responsive. So your body, you need to work harder. So what we want to do is, hey, you have to walk the course. So you have to have soft underfoot, but you need that responsiveness. And really, it's Newton's third law, right? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So when our feet push into the ground, we want that player to get that back in energy return, in responsiveness, so that that energy can go into the foot, into the player, and then they can bring more power to the ball. So that's how we've engineered the product.
David, how does that relate? Obviously, it's a power game these days in golf. In terms of a teaching philosophy and using the ground and using a force, how does that then relate to club head and ball speed in the swing?
Well, it's all about essentially harnessing energy, and the fact that you build energy, you hold off that energy, and you release that energy, and that's the key. And so by using the ground, I mean, an example would be if you try to hit a golf ball sitting on a chair with your feet off the ground. I mean, basically the only way you're going to be hitting the ball in that way is just using hands and arms. There's really no the energy source, shall we say, which is really your core area. Remember, your legs, everybody thinks you get your power from your legs. It really isn't. It's really sort of your mid torso where you get your power from, and your legs stabilize your swing. So your legs and your feet. Now, it's true to say we see some players, you know, long hitters in particular, you know, whose feet are sort of off the ground, and they're, you know, not everybody's flat-footed when they hit the ball. But even so, even if their feet are off the ground, say a Bubba Watson, say, okay, you can actually see him being left-handed, his right foot, the ball of his foot is very firmly planted on the ground, even though the heel may be twisting. So it's the way that you can, say, create this energy through coiling, through having that force beneath you to use that as resistance, if you will, and then, say, being able to sort of almost increase that resistance and then unleash it. And so unleashing it is a way that, I mean, it's not all about strength. I mean, that's where timing and we use the word synchronization comes into hitting a golf ball a long way. As you say, you look like a Justin Thomas. I mean, as Mike was alluding to, I mean, look, he probably weighs 150 pounds soaking wet, right? But he generates an immense amount of power. And so it's very interesting. I mean, how you can almost contain this power and be able to sort of utilize this energy in such a way that produces, say, solid impact. And remember, I say solid impact, yeah, you're going to hit a long way, but the fact is you also, by using these forces in that fashion, you actually stabilize the club head through impact too. So, you know, the old adage was, well, if you hit it long, you're going to hit it crooked. Well, not necessarily. I mean, you look, somebody like Bryson DeChambeau hits it very straight, considering how far he hits it. So, you know, there's always maybe factors that somebody's going at 110%. Maybe there's a little bit more margin for error there, but yet it's yeah, it is interesting, you know, say, and this is, you know, my work with JJ through the years, how it really opened my eyes to see things that our teaching is all about how we go about, say, harnessing or creating this energy, harnessing it, and then learning to release it.
And Mike and David, obviously golf is one of these sports that doesn't have a flat terrain, right? Other than the tee shots, every shot is going to have a different pitch, which is unlike tennis, cricket, football, any other sport. It's perfectly flat. So how have you incorporated that into the sole in terms of the actual traction that the PAYNTR shoe generates?
Yeah, you can see it on the nub detail that we have in the outsole, right? So we have nubs on the lateral forefoot and the medial heel that prevent rotation. We've got the other nubs on the outsole that are more penetrating nubs, so that when you're walking the course, when you're on an uneven lie, uphill, downhill lie, you have that traction. In the horizontal movement, like what David was just referring to, it's as much about support and supporting the foot as it is about responsiveness and underfoot cushioning. So for us, we've got a dual durometer, a dual hardness midsole. So it's not just painted, it's an actual 10-degree difference in firmness or softness. So when your weight shifts to the lateral heel, it's supportive underfoot. And then when you're moving and you're moving towards the ball of your foot and you're getting up on the toe of your right foot, that's supportive as well. And then what we do in the medial forefoot is we articulate that as much as possible, because as David knows, your feet, your toes, and we've learned this with the work we've done with JJ, your toes are trying to grab the ground. So we want to give that articulation or that flexibility in that area so that it helps you during the golf swing, but it also, that forefoot flexibility just makes it more comfortable to walk the course. So all of those things, I mean, you have to have the right balance of traction and support, underfoot cushioning and responsiveness. So it's that balance that we've been able to work into the PAYNTR Golf product.
I mean, one of the things that we do as an exercise, Ben, is we actually get people to hit balls without their shoes. And so it is interesting. I mean, I've even players who've grown up not actually using shoes. They were caddies and they developed into good players and so on. So the thing is, the great thing about this is that, you know, you actually, as Mike was saying, you feel the ground, you sense your feet in such a way that, I mean, there are other shoes out there which look comfortable, but it's interesting, especially when you see some of the shoes out with these ultra thick soles. They might feel very comfortable and cushiony, but there's so much torque in those shoes there's no stability. So this shoe provides that stability, and it does feel like literally that you have it, it's very similar feel to when you don't have any shoes on,
Yeah, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? It's these shoes, you put them on, you hit a few shots, you can actually feel it pretty quickly, the difference between another pair of shoes.
I mean, you went out and played them straight away when you got them, and it's like you said, wow, I feel a big difference. And obviously I haven't been able to do it recently because of my injury, but I mean, I will soon. And it's like, I'm really excited about it because I like the lightness, I like the material. I mean, and also you've got, correct me if I'm wrong, right? The gray area is the firm area, Mike, right? And the white area is more of the cushiony area, correct?
It's more soft. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it is about a 10-degree difference in durometer, and that's what the foot can sense. Is that you hear my dogs in the background? They're excited about this shoe too.
Well, listen, Mike, Dave, maybe as a final word, what do you hope the future holds? Obviously, as a new brand in golf, David, you had clearly success in cricket. What do you hope the future holds for PAYNTR Golf?
Yeah, super exciting. I'm just soaking all this conversation in. It's fantastic. Taking lessons from David Leadbetter and learning the ropes from Mike Forsey. It's brilliant. But no, it's just super exciting to be partnered with you guys on a global scale. So much potential with the brand. Yeah, I mean, sky's the limit. I think, it's just the synergies are so much alike, as visions are aligned with both you guys and how you coach your performance, and then our footwear and the performance. And for me, it's just about producing the best products we can to help the athlete, whether it be a cricketer or a golfer or whoever. So yeah, I just can't wait to see where this can go, and super excited for this partnership.
Fantastic. Mike, is performance multiplied, right? That's the strap line behind the company.
And David doesn't give enough credit to that, but that's definitely what attracted me to the PAYNTR brand to begin with, and why I wanted to get involved with him in golf, is that we have a similar product creation strategy, and it's about developing product that will give that performance enhancement to the athlete. So we study the game. David studies it in cricket. I've studied it in golf for a number of years. And what we're creating and what we put in the market, we want to make sure is going to be an enhancement to that player's experience, that player's performance. So,
well, listen, we're really excited to be partnering with you, and we can't wait for all of our coaches and academies around the world to be testing and demonstrating and endorsing the PAYNTR Golf shoe. So we're really proud to be with you guys. We're excited about the future, and thank you for your confidence in us. And as David said, the sky's the limit.
Excellent. Yeah, we're happy.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.